Welcome, John, to Metaladium Pages. It's a great pleasure to talk with you about Hellbutcher, this first album, or this homónimo album, and more things related to the metal world in general. So we are starting by asking, so when do you decide to create another band like Hellbutcher?
Well, it was about mid 22, I think we started the band Hellbutcher. So I was still playing in my previous band, Nifelheim, at the time, but I decided I wanted to do something by my own, mostly because I had a lot of musical ideas, and we didn't really work as a band anymore in the Nifelheim, my old band. So I just wanted to be able to, create some new stuff without too much hassle. And then the idea came to just start my own band.
Yes, yes. Well, all people know that Hellbutcher came from the ashes from Nifelheim, when a lot of bands more because you are with Devastator from Bloodbath, and but in some case this new band Hellbutcher is like the all stars because all people in this band are very well known in the music, especially in Swedish in this
Yeah,
so
more or less.
yes, how do you gather these old people to create this new band Hellbutcher?
Yeah, well, it's not very complicated. All of them are my friends, more or less. So I just called some guys that I knew, and luckily enough, I have talented friends that are good musicians. So it's kind of that simple, really.
Okay, okay. So, well, you mentioned that the Hellbutcher started in 2022. So, and when did you decide to start on this new album? Because your first demo, That's Rider, was released in 2022, and now this homónimo album, Hellbutcher, is released by one of the biggest labels, that is Metal Blade. So, new band, All Stars Music, and with Metal Blade. So, in one way, in on always, as a great accomplishment for a new band.
Yeah, well, I have, some ambitions, to try to do this band like a proper band. Not like only a project or anything. We want to be, like go out on tour, do all the things that a real band is doing. So I was really trying to get a proper record deal to be able to reach all people all over, more or less all over the world, with the music that we are creating, and just to get started with this band, really.
Okay, okay. And also, what do you decide to call Hellbutcher as the first name album? Because usually, or perhaps this special album has a meaning. That's why you put the album as like a band, like the band.
Yeah, you mean the name?
About the name. Why do you decide to put Hellbutcher as the first album name?
Yeah, well, it's because simply I'm a big Iron Maiden fan. I thought Iron Maiden's first album
Yeah.
is self-titled. That's why, really. I thought first album should be self-titled. That's just how it is.
Okay, well, listen this entirely this new Hellbutcher. I denote one thing, that you go beyond the sound of Niflheim because you have more black speed thrash. You have a lot of elements into this new album. So in this
Yeah.
case, how was the composition process of this new album? Perhaps Iron Beast was one of the main creators. Perhaps you decide to compose. So how do you how the band divided all compositions of this new album?
Yeah, well, I was mainly doing. I would say I have done like 85% of the album all by myself. I wrote what is it? All songs except for two songs. The song called "Sword of Wrath" and the song called "Inferno's Rage." Those songs I worked together with Necrophiliac, the guitarist that is, well, the least known person from previous bands. He is a really, really good songwriter, and we were working together on the Sword of Wrath. He came up with most of the riffs. I did the chorus and some stuff, and he did the main part of the riff, and then me and him arranged it together, and I wrote the lyrics and all that. So yeah, that was a band composition, if you say so. For this album, the other guys haven't been involved in the songwriting. It's only me and also Necrophiliac on some songs.
Okay, okay.
Yeah.
Oh well, talking about the promotion of this new Hellbutcher album. So, what kind of promotion do you have for this new album? Perhaps you will do tours, gigs, more videos. Who knows? What kind of plans do you have? Or perhaps you already composed the second one. Who knows? Second album. Who knows?
Yeah. We are actually we're at the moment we are working hard to get a lot of gigs all over, as many as possible. I would say we just started working with a booking agency called Doomstar, and they are doing a good job. Really, they've booked us already on a few gigs, but they are not like released yet, so I don't want to say too much. But there are some in Germany, and there are some gigs coming up in Sweden. There are gigs planned for next year, and so there is coming more and more all the time. So I don't have a schedule really at the moment what gigs we're going to do, but you will see eventually if you like follow us on the social media and whatever. We will post all the gigs that we are playing there. So that's a place where you can find out more about the gigs. And except for that, we have some more video stuff on the limited edition of the album. We have put a DVD from the first live concert we ever did as a bonus, and we also have some more promotion material coming as well. I don't know what I'm supposed to talk about, because sometimes it's a release date for all the promotion stuff, but there is things coming definitely.
Okay. And what is aspect to tour, to do more gigs, to do presentation with this new album Hellbutcher? One thing that is impossible to ask is about the times or the schedule, because as I mentioned a few minutes ago, Devastator, Necrophiliac, or all members has their personal jobs or has personal bands like Bloodbath, more than the so. How do you will gather it all members to do a Hellbutcher gig or tour when all has I think a busy schedule?
Yeah, well, first of all, Mordant is not or the necrophiliac guy. He's not playing in Mordant anymore, so he's got the time, no problem. Then it's the other guys. They have some other bands as well, like the other guitarist, Iron Beast. He's in a few bands, and he's playing in Unleashed and a lot of other bands. But the great thing about this is that it seems like all of the guys in the band are very dedicated to this band, so it has been no problem at all this far to get the gigs going. Really, it's been very smooth all the time.
Okay. And with this new album, I know that you came from Nifelheim, and Nifelheim has a lyrics related to the Satanism, to blasphemy, this kind of stuff like evil. And I wanna read this Hellbutcher. I think you try to continue with this kind of aspect, because sounds like the Hoarders of the Horned God or possessed by the devil's flames is very related with this Satanism, with occultism, all this kind of stuff. So, or perhaps what is the main focus of this Hellbutcher album? Is still the same, the Nifelheim lyrics, or perhaps there is another approach with the Satanism, etc.
No, it's the same. I haven't changed. I haven't changed personally. Since I started this band. It's I have the I have the same ideas about lyrical themes, like the same as Nifelheim. Really, it's if you I mean we are a black metal band, but we play black metal with a different approach probably than a lot of other bands do. Still, we're playing black metal, so I think those lyrics are the ones that fits the band really.
Okay, nice, nice. As I mentioned it, one thing is that this new Hellbutcher album has a lot of textures, more for me more complex than if Nifelheim has or had at that time, and has more depth, speed, a lot of textures because you have a lot of members with different styles and tastes. And for you, which is the biggest difference that this Hellbutcher album have or has with the entire productions that came every weekend? As you can see, every weekend we have 30, 40, 50 albums per week. So it's very difficult to get attention for one album or two albums. And now it's impossible for a lot of people to hear 50 albums in one weekend.
Yeah. It's really a lot of bands coming, but there is only one thing you can do as a band. It's just to try to do as good songs as you possibly can, and then just hope that people pick it up. Of course it's good to have a good promotion from the record label and so on. That's pretty obviously an important part to reach out to as many people as possible, but you cannot do really much about it. It's just to but well, I guess we are doing something quite different than a lot of other bands as well. So it's I think that fans will get that. It's not like another band that sounds just like all other bands, I hope.
Okay. As I mentioned in the first question and talking about other kind of topics, as you can see, the metal in this era is well more accepted for a lot of people. When you was born in the 80s and you hear a lot of music from the 90s, 80s, 70s, as you can see, the metal at that time have had a huge impact with the lyrics, with the cover arts, with a lot of stuff. Also a lot of people talking about Satanism, a lot of gore things. I don't know, a lot of political aspects, economic. So the metal at that time was too impact for the society at that time. But now, thanks to the social media or the trends in a lot of social media exist now, and the metal will more accepted with how can you paint a corpse paint like a black metal from Swedish, from Norway, or how do you do your own cover art from with it, thanks to the AI, etc. More things happen. The metal is well more accepted, and with this aspect, a lot of musicians that I talked in the past told me that the metal lose in some ways this kind of essence to fight against something, to fight to bring back the old kind of things that do fight to rebellion, this kind of stuff. Now you don't have to fight anything. If you talk about the Satanism, as you can see, there's a lot of Satanist churches in the world that thinking like Christianism. They have church, they have priests, and they have prayers, this kind of stuff. So what is your opinion about now? The metal in some ways lose the essence to be a rebellion in this society.
Yeah, well, I think that the thing is that time passes by all the time. So the thing with the metal, it's impossible to get the exact same impact, or it's impossible to get the same vibe back as it was back in the days. It's like nowadays, if you look back, if I was old school when I started playing music 35 years ago, I would have started playing like Elvis or something, and he's not very, provocative at this time either. Time changes all the time, and you can't do anything about it. So I think that's the main reason why it is as it is. It's just like, yeah, it's just a matter. It's just because of the time that passes all the time.
Okay, okay. And one of the last questions for this interview, John, is what do you think about the different kind of music now in the world? Because as you can, especially in the extreme metal, because Sweden has their personal sound, US has the personal sound, and usually the savage music comes usually from Latin America. Brazil, Colombia, this kind, or Mexico has a good bands that preach this kind of savage music. And in some ways, when I hear Hellbutcher, I denote a little aspect of this savage instinct that the metal has in the 80s. So for you,
Yeah.
what's your point of view about the Latin American sound nowadays?
The Latin American sound has always had a big impact on me, because I'm a huge fan of a lot of South American bands. One of my favorite bands that I was, like listening to when I was really young was Vulcano from Brazil. It was one of the most insane records I've ever heard, the Bloody Vengeance. And of course, that was a big impact on me. And then I was, when I've started to listen to, Vulcano, I started to search for other bands in the same genre, like, Sarcophago, all the Brazilian, death metal scene. And then, eventually to all other countries, like Parabellum from Colombia, all over, So it's surely, you can definitely hear some South American influences in our music.
Well, yeah, that is true. That is completely true.
Yeah.
So now, one thing that is beyond from Hellbutcher and returning to your role with Nifelheim at that time, because always all people know that Nifelheim is on hold, or other people say that on Nifelheim is in split up, and so. With this aspect, I saw there's a lot of coming re-releases to re-editions from the demos, albums, etc. That's common now, I think. So what is your point of view now when a band disappears completely for the live presentations, and then the labels re-release, re-record, re-compilation old stuff? Do you think this is some kind of is good or is bad for the scene to bring back old stuff when you have the opportunity to hear at the beginning?
Well, yeah, the band Nifelheim, it was more or less, I don't even know if it's on hold or whatever it is. I don't feel like I don't think that we are going to do anything for a extremely long time, if you ask me anyway. So I consider it like it's more or less over. But all the reissues and stuff like that, it's something that we have been working on for years. But now suddenly everyone wants to do it. I don't know why. But to me, it's totally okay, to release. Now, when we're not playing any shows, doing anything, at least we can release the albums for, if the fans want something, it's better to release the old stuff again. That's my opinion.
Okay. Well, John, the sad times arrive at this interview. I hope you enjoyed this one like me. This new album, Hellbutcher, is a great one. For me, it's very different from Nifelheim because you have more textures on this new album, especially for me.
Yeah.
And congratulations on it. So perhaps do you want to add something to your Latin American fans and obviously Metallerium followers?
Yeah, well, I'm just gonna say, stay metal.